Many of us have lost someone due to a terminal illness or know somebody who has lost somebody. This is not easy for anyone to go through, but have you ever thought about what the person with the terminal illness is going through? Us as the people around them are going through a lot, but the person who has the terminal illness is most likely going through a lot more. My name is Katie, and today we're going to be discussing assisted suicide. I will convince you that it should be legalized in all the states. Assisted suicide is not an easy topic to discuss, but there are many different forms of assisted suicide. Today, we're mostly going to be discussing physician-assisted suicide. Physician-assisted suicide is where the patient will put in the request for medicine, who is terminally ill, and the doctors will give them and supply them with the medicine to end their lives peacefully. This is a controversial topic. Any topic that discusses ending someone's life is going to be sensitive and controversial. I believe, though, that if someone is in enough pain, only have a certain amount of time to live, and they can't take any more pain or don't want to go through it, that they should have the decision of ending their lives peacefully. Physician-assisted suicide is only legalized in the following states: Washington, Oregon, California, District of Columbia, Hawaii, Montana, Maine, Vermont, and New Jersey. The argument that is given by the people who are against physician-assisted suicide most of the time is that the people with the terminal illness should cherish the time that they have left. After doing my research and hearing from both sides, though, I still think that it should be legalized in all the states to be able to use physician-assisted suicide. One person stated in one of the videos that the last years he had with his wife are the best years of his life. In the next video I watched, there was this lady and her husband was going through a terminal illness and knew that he was going to pass soon. He was in a lot of pain and he talked to his wife about it, and she agreed that if that's what he wanted to do, that he could go ahead and do it. Before, he was always a very anxious person, and he would twitch his hands a lot, and he always very anxious. But she said after he took the medicine and he was laying in bed, his hands were still, he was finally at peace, and the last words he said to her were "thank you." In my family, personally, there is a very long genetic trait of cancer. Every person that I know in my family that has passed away has passed of cancer. I don't think they would have chosen to end their lives any sooner, but I'm sure for many other people it has crossed their mind and they do wish they could have used physician-assisted suicide. While doing my research, I noticed that a lot of people actually moved to different states just to get access to it. The option should be available. People should have the choice to do what they want to with their own bodies. It is their body and should be their choice. I know people and animals aren't the same, but coming from a pet lover, we put our pets down all the time so they don't have to go through pain and be miserable anymore. How is it okay, though, for us to be able to do that with our pets because we love our pets so much, but that option isn't available to people? The people are going through just the same amount of pain, if not more, but they don't have that option to not go through that pain anymore. Now, you may be thinking, what if the doctor doesn't want to do it, or what if the patient isn't mentally sound? Because people with terminal illnesses, there's a lot happening in their mind. As far as the doctor, I believe that there should be a rule in this law that gets passed where if the doctor isn't okay doing it, the doctor shouldn't have to do it. Basically, you would have to go find a doctor who is okay with doing it. Now, as far as if the patient's mentally sound, in Oregon, they actually passed an act, and it's called the Death with Dignity Act. In the Death with Dignity Act, there are the following rules. A patient must have just 6 months left to live. So if they have like a year left or something, they can't use it. Secondly, more than one physician must sign off on the patient. Thirdly, both physicians must sign off and agree that the patient is mentally sound. And then lastly, 15 days after the original request for the medication and the physician signing off, the patient must request for it again. All finalized laws come with rules, so just like any other law, this law would also come with rules. These rules would make sure that when the big, important decision is reached, that is rational and the patient is 100% sure that this is what they want to go through with. In conclusion, if the person is mentally stable, they follow these rules, they're terminally ill and cannot take any more pain, they should be allowed to have the option of ending their lives peacefully. With the right structure and rules, I don't think there's any reason why this law could not be passed. If the patient is terminally ill, the patient sadly is going to pass eventually anyway. With the option of assisted suicide, they would be able to pass without going through a lot more pain. If someone simply does not agree with physician-assisted suicide, then they simply do not have to use it. But it should be an option for those who want to.